Hey everybody, Stu Smith here, going live and taking questions in a little bit. But first, let's talk about the combat swimmer stroke, also known as the CSS, also known as the combat side stroke, also known as the modified side stroke. So often you will see people learn the side stroke from just about any lifeguard course, which is a lot different than the combat side stroke or the combat swimmer stroke. It's just a nickname for a modified version of that side stroke. And the biggest difference between the elementary side stroke and the CSS is you actually get a full top arm pull out of that stroke. So, here for more Mississippi's. Good one, Raymond. Um, yes, and you will glide out of that stroke a little bit, especially after the kick and a good together recovery. So it's actually significantly different. The only thing that is similar between an elementary side stroke and the CSS is that you are kicking on your side. That's about it. The top arm is a full freestyle in the CSS, the bottom arm's like a breaststroke, and you recover together. Whereas the elementary side stroke is, if you remember, you kind of start off in this position off the wall. You start off with the bottom arm, you pull water and you push water with the kick. So it's a little confusing. I did a previous show on that one. You can see some elementary side stroke versions. There are some uses for the elementary side stroke. You can keep your head out the whole time. So if you're wearing clothes or pulling gear, sometimes that elementary side stroke's useful just to catch your breath. So Aiden just asked, do I still do CSS critiques? I do them just about every day, not only here locally with people that I train, but also um, I'm about to do some right now, which is Tuesday. Tuesday is our CSS critiques day. So if you notice the title of this video, it says learning the combat server stroke plus live Q&A with CSS video critiques. So I'm critiquing videos right now, and people send videos to me by emailing them to me at stu@stewsmith.com, or they DM me in my Instagram, which is stewsmith50. And you can go to Reels and see a ton of CSS critiques. Also on TikTok, stewsmith50. You can find a ton of CSS critiques, talking over 100 in one shot right there. And even started pulling some of those videos and putting them onto YouTube Shorts. So this channel for years have had CSS critiques on them. So you can find them. So let's get right into it because I have a ton of CS critiques to show you. But before we do, Navy baseball season starts today. You know what that means? We're 1 week away from March, and that means we are a lift cycle away from starting the spring. Very exciting. Spring is one of my favorites. Just gets nice here. So, all right. So, where do you want to start? Let's start with CSS. Oh, you know what? Let's do this. I had a kid come in and he was really popping his head up high. That's one of like the number one reasons why people are slow is they actually pop their whole head up out of the water instead of just turning to breathe like you're doing freestyle. So what I had him do is I had him swim freestyle. Just for after I saw him swim CSS, I said, let's see what your freestyle looks like. And I said, just take that freestyle, turn and breathe, what you just did, and now apply it to the CSS. And we fixed his popping his head up problem. So whenever you do freestyle, you're going to pull and turn just like this. That head stays right here, water's right here, right? Versus sticking it up like this. As soon as your head pops up, your feet are going to drop and you're just going to be dragging more water. So turn to breathe and then use that bottom arm to pull while you're inhaling and then kick and recover versus pulling and using that bottom arm to push down. So now you come up. And what happens is you want to turn to breathe versus pop up to breathe in the water. So this fixed that problem, which makes you actually faster because whenever you pop up to breathe, you kind of quit going horizontally and you're moving in the X direction and all of a sudden, boom, you're going the Y direction and you stop moving horizontally. So let's see how that looked whenever we fixed it. Pulling it up right now. I'm assuming, yeah, I think this is a CSS. It could be the freestyle. I'm not sure. So let me share my screen with you. All right, so you guys see this? You guys see this? And what the hell? Why isn't this working? I am having the roughest time with some of these sharing moments. All right, so pull up a video. And this is a short guy too. He was flirting with like 5'3", but he was actually swimming pretty well. So let me share my screen. I don't know. We'll see. You might be right. Come on, swim. Why is this not working? I apologize, folks, but I am having a hard time trying to figure this out. Let me see if I move it over here. Does it change? So I got two screens, so I guess that's probably screwing me up. All right, so here we go. Let's see if this works. Now I can't see if it's working or not. Damn it. All right, folks, I am just about getting pissed here. So I cannot do this at all right now, and I'm not sure why. I do it all the time. So something's wrong. So let me see. You guys got any questions while I try to figure this out? Because this is the oddest thing I've seen in quite some time. Let me see if this works. All right. I think I figured it out. Okay, here we go. So here is a CSS, top arm, bottom arm, kick and glide. And I think this is him before I fixed it. He's popping his head up, or it's after I fixed it. Let me see here. We can make it bigger. All right, so we kick off the wall. He could kick off the wall harder. See how he kind of skimmed the surface there? Not very good. He actually fixed it. So this is a fixed version of this. And I'm just going to save time by, instead of showing him swimming freestyle, what we did here is we applied his freestyle turn and stroke to this. Now, I think one of the reasons why he's not moving very fast here is his pull and his kick are just a little bit weak. And just mean you got to pull harder, you got to kick harder. He's kicking on his side and he needs to roll over on his belly. I think part of it too, he's tending to roll over on his belly in the middle of his kick, and it just kind of weakens the hips when you do that. So we'll move on from here. But anyway, we fixed his stroke. It obviously needs some work still, basically pulling harder and kicking harder. But it's not horrible. This was another one we did today that I really liked. We'll start this one. Jesus, why isn't this working? All right. I'm still having a hard time. Oh man, that's just frustrating. All right, let me take some questions here. I'll try to figure this out while I'm answering. Any advice for trying to get into the Naval Academy and then be a SEAL? I'm a junior. Yes, I do. First of all, getting into the Naval Academy, you need to go to the Naval Academy website and start the application process yesterday. And then you can read this article, Plebe to Navy SEAL. Wrote this article a while back, you know, how to go from your plebe year. First, you got to get accepted into the Naval Academy, obviously, which if you go to the admissions department website, that will be the process you need to do. Read this article, and then once you get accepted into the Naval Academy, this is how you go from being a midshipman at the Naval Academy, graduating, and going to SEAL training. So check that out. All right. So, hey, Sue, I'd like to know what level does your cows and cardio book make you reach on the PST? Pretty high, because it is focused. I've had some people really crush the PST with that couldn't even pass the PST when they started. So there's a beginner, intermediate, and advanced cycle to that. That intermediate level is pretty good, and it's going to get you with running and swimming and building up your calisthenics. That advanced one takes it to another level that is PST worthy of that preparation. So it's a good place to start if your goal is to crush the PST and you cannot pass the PST yet. How do you kick off the wall with fins? You know what? I'm trying to show that, Seth. Let me try it again, because I am starting to get a little bit pissed about this whole sharing my screen stuff. All right, so let's see if this. Okay, had to go a different route that time. So let me take this out of the way. All right, so we got to kick off the wall, and I'll pull him up. He's also swimming with fins in a minute. So we got him working pretty well with this one. Top arm, bottom arm, kick, and he holds a glide. This is a self-taught kid. He just came to visit us today, and he says he's just been watching videos. So he's obviously been putting in the time as well. So this is really good. He's a little slow, and when I say a little slow, he's probably around 54-second 50, but he also needs to get in swimming shape. And here's the one thing that I have his issue is. It's his posture. When he's in the glide position, he's okay on his belly, but when he starts that glide position, he's on his side. And the big difference is he needs to straighten out his posture. Otherwise, he's looking like a banana in the water, and he's just constantly swimming to the right. That's why he's either hitting the wall or he's hitting that one. On the way down, he did pretty well hitting the getting a little straighter. Got to get those biceps on your ears, and if you're on your side at all, you definitely want to be in that tight body position. Get in the middle for you. You want to be like this, not like this. This makes a big difference, and it will constantly pull you to the right, you know, if you're trying to swim. So that's a good one. All right, good. Feel pretty good about that. Let me see. Let me stop sharing. All right, so you want to see it with fins now, because you had asked that. How do you kick off the wall with fins? Here's how you kick off the wall with fins. You're pretty much flat-footed, so you can't really kick off well with fins. So what I do is I get in a really good streamlined position. I kick off as best I can, and then immediately go into 2 dolphin kicks. That's going to get your momentum back going real quick. Getting 2 dolphin kicks and then just start your stroke. I'm not a fan of doing a breaststroke pullout off the wall with a pair of fins. Just feels a little awkward sometimes. So I'll do 2 dolphin kicks, get my momentum going, and then start flutter kicking, medium-sized flutter kicks. So let me see if I can pull him up on this one with fins, because he did a really good job swimming with fins. Once I fixed his issue with tends to bicycle a little bit. So that bicycling was the issue for him. All right, so let me see if I can share my screen the way I did a minute ago. There we go. Just gotta, boom. Come on, man. What the hell? There we go. Whew. All right. I don't know why I had to change methods. So you see how he gets a couple dolphin kicks in there off the wall and gets his momentum going? Kick off the wall, dolphin, dolphin. Start your stroke. Go right into the stroke right here. So there you go. So he's working really hard trying not to bicycle. When he first started this swim, he was really bending the knees, but I found out his ankles were just sore because he actually did a 2-mile swim with fins yesterday. So that's one thing I do not recommend doing is too many days in a row of swimming with fins like this. You know, at Bud, you're going to do a 2-mile ocean swim once a week. You know, we typically do swimming with fins on leg day. Today was a leg day, so we did legs. And then right afterwards, we swam with fins. And he's working at pushing from the hips, pulling and pushing from the hips, pulling from the hamstrings. Now, your knees can bend slightly, but you don't want to look like you're riding a bicycle. If anytime you're feeling like you're riding a bicycle, it's going to slow you down significantly. So that's how you kick off the wall. Let's see how he kicked off the wall this time. See how he got a couple dolphin kicks in there, and then he just comes up for a stroke. And usually I try to stay in this streamline position, and you just use your arms when you need to breathe. Kick, kick, kick. Time to breathe. Kick, kick, kick. You want to be a little tighter on that streamline when you get in the streamline body position. But that is how you swim with fins. And I thought he did pretty well with that one. Once again, not a normal visitor for us. I haven't seen him in a while. But last time I saw him, he has been working pretty hard to practice swimming with fins or swimming, period. Live stream canceled. Not sure what you're talking about. I'm still here. And it's still going live. What mask do you recommend swimming with in prep for buds? Just one that I personally like, a single piece of glass mask, meaning sometimes you'll see a mask that has a nose and 2 separate pieces of glass. I personally prefer the mask, and then it has a little bridge over your nose that connects them, mainly because it's just easier to do scuba diving and nose or mask clearing when it's all one piece. Because sometimes when you do a mask clearing with 2 different pieces, that can be separated by your nose sometimes, depending on your nose size, and only one side gets cleared. So that's just a scuba issue, but for swimming with fins, it doesn't really matter. You know, I swam with goggles a lot of times, and then whenever I swam with fins, I swam with a mask, because you do have to learn to be a mouth breather whenever you are swimming with fins in the ocean, because you have a mask on. However, you also need to learn how to swim with your nose uncovered, because you'll be doing a lot of underwater swimming, drown proofing, life saving, and all of those require you to do it without a mask or goggles. And you need to learn how to, you know, inhale, exhale, be underwater without water going up your nose. There's a whole process there. So I would practice with both. Stu managed to fix my kick a bit this morning before work. Oh, hey, Nick. Used your method of kickboard drills. Good, Nick. Good job. When assigned a blue and gold officer, ask him about your candidate visit weekend. Yeah, sure. And then when you're on that candidate visit, come see me, as I am there coaching. Yeah, Daniel is hooking you up with all the answers there. But all those answers are also on the USNA admissions, usna.edu admissions section of that website. So show some initiative, figure that out. When you swim with fins, can you stay on your side? Yes, it is highly recommended you stay on your side. Do not roll over on your belly because it shortens your kick too much. In fact, if you notice, that previous swimmer stays on his side the whole time when swimming with fins. But without fins, he rolls on his belly a little bit. Just because I find it easier to get that good top on pull when I'm laying belly down, or at least 45-degree angle down. Let's see, just finished Air Force AF or AFCCT prep program, and the IFT scores improved, but not significantly. Push-ups went from 40 to 48. There's nothing wrong with doing it again, and you may just want to practice, maybe adding the supplemental push-up program to it. I call it the 2-week protocol for pull-ups and push-ups. It's also called the push-up push, where you do a series of daily push-ups for 10 days straight. In fact, read the article I just put in the comment section, because here's how it works. You're at 48, so let's say 50. Multiply 50 by 4. That's 200. You need to owe yourself 200 push-ups every day for 10 days straight. Then you take 3 days off from any pushing exercise. That means no bench, no overhead press, no pushing at all. And then you test on day 14. See what that does. And I put an article in here that explains it for both pull-ups and push-ups. So, good morning, Stu. Have you trained anyone for CRO pipeline? Yes, several. Any major differences you notice? You know what? I'll be honest with you. We all train together. The only real difference is some of the pool activities in the water for the Air Force. They will do a buddy breathing, treading, on sharing a snorkel. Very difficult. What we do with that is all my guys that are going to buds are swimming laps, and the 2 guys going Air Force are sitting in the middle of the lane. And as my guys pass them, they are dunking them and just pushing them out of their way, just messing with them while they try to buddy breathe and stay on the surface. So that's what we tend to do with those guys. There's some underwaters that are a little bit different. The one thing I came up with for the Air Force guys is the Air Force 50-50 swim workout, a little bit different than the Navy 50-50 swim workout. You can find that. In fact, all I did do is put Air Force 50-50 swim workout. I'll put it in the comment section because it's a really good swim workout. Really good. Let's see. Daniel, I'm not sure what you're saying here. They won't let you go see Stu. I tried. You just got to find the right people. I'm there, at the Spec Ops training team area. You just got to find a guy on the Spec Ops team, which there's over 50 or 60 of us. What's the process of attending one of the swim workouts that you hold? Show up in Maryland and you can join us. We're in Severna Park, Maryland, most of the week. Sometimes we're in Annapolis, near the Annapolis High School swimming pool. But it's on my schedule is on the website www.heroesoftomorrow.org. It explains everything, where we are, when when we are doing it, and you can join us during those swim workouts. And sometimes I'll swim again on my own. If that doesn't fit your schedule, I'll sometimes swim at lunch. Depends. Like normally I swim in the morning with my group, but if there's someone there that needs help, I'll do more coaching than swimming. So I'll go back and I'll swim at noon on my own. How often do you recommend a lighter movement deload week? I think I've overdone training lately without enough rest because of job and school. That happens. I had one last week, but it was also our normal deload week. So we tend to do one every 4 weeks is somewhat of a deload week, especially during the lift cycle, because it just hits you different. I mean, lifting heavier weights than normal is, a load on your body and your ability to recover. I mean, it is a central nervous system hit that you can definitely, you definitely can use a rest every 4 or 5 weeks, I have found. And when I say rest, you still do all your workouts same time as you always do, so you don't get out of that habit. You just pull back, maybe pull it back 50%, maybe change all your weightlifting exercises to calisthenics, maybe go for a bike ride or a jog, so you're just doing that. And in fact, that's what we do here with this winter lift cycle. In fact, we're on our last 4-week cycle of that before spring. Getting excited. Very excited. So that's what we do. And I feel much better this week. I think I was fighting a cold last week that just screwed me up. So I pulled back significantly because every time I'd try to run, I'd start coughing and, I just kept my heart rate down, and I needed a break because I was probably going to get myself sick if I kept going. They don't let you go anywhere without a midshipman. Yeah, of course. That's the way it works, Daniel. That's why I said find somebody on the Spec Ops team and go to their practice. That's what most of the guys do. I do it all the time with high school kids. Morning, Stu. How long do you recommend swimming CSS without fins before you start with fins? And when you start with fins, how many times a week with fins and no fins? So we typically swim 5 to 6 days a week. And 2 of those days typically are leg days. And we will swim with fins on our leg days. So after we're doing squats or deadlifts, we'll swim with fins. Just part of the way I cycle it. And I think that is enough. Every now and then we'll do a third leg day, or we'll call it our Spec Ops triathlon, where we will run, ruck, and do a swim with fins after that. So it might be a third swim with fins day in a week. But typically 2 is all you need. And then the other days are all conditioning and no fins, swimming, working on treading. So we will tend to do, 3 to 4 no fin days in the pool. Let's see. Do you know anyone who's passed buds with little to no athletic background? Yeah. Takes a little longer to prep. We had a couple of guys recently that played no sports in their life after 10 years old. And but they did other things. They worked. They did skateboarding. Nothing crazy. They weren't like Tony Hawk or anything, but they just did skateboarding. So they weren't docile and did nothing, and they were sedentary. They were actually moving around, busy. They busied themselves. So maybe that was a good common denominator that helped them, but both of them made it through. I would say both of them spent probably a year and a half preparing for buds. There were some strength weaknesses they had to work on and get in better running shape. In BMT, what are some of the ideas for night workouts and try to keep up on endurance and calisthenics and hope of not losing any strength or stamina? Good question. In fact, I just talked to a guy the other day that just finished basic, and he was sharing with me some of the things he did, and in addition to some of my recommendations that I gave him before he left. And I would say treat an upper body day and a lower body day the same as you normally do. And so it's if it's an upper body day, you just do push-ups spread throughout the day whenever you can, right? Max reps, make it a pyramid, and just, whenever you get dropped, just counts towards that pyramid, and you just do more push-ups. You wake up in the morning, do flutter kicks and sit-ups. If you can find a bar, sometimes in the laundry area, if you're in charge of doing laundry, there's places to hang and do some pull-ups. Sometimes there's pull-up bars in the gym or outside the barracks, so you can maybe add some pull-ups, if you can get out there and do them. On leg days, it's very important. You need to have a leg day too, and you need to do lunges. You can also do burpees on the day before, on the upper body days, some days, just to get the cardio up. Lunges are very key. Lunges are a great way to keep your legs ready to go. And we have this one thing that we call death by push-ups, which we do on upper body day, obviously. And you get in a plank position 10 minutes. And every minute on the minute, you do 10 push-ups. Well, this guy was telling me today that he did the same thing on leg days and did it with a wall sit. So he was wall sitting for 5 to 10 minutes, and every minute on the minute, he would do 10 squats. And I'm like, that is genius. Because to be honest with you, the squats kind of help you loosen up and you get back into that, leaning, that we used to call it the green bench, where we called it air chair or wall sit. In my high school, it was this green wall. Coach would just call it sit on the green bench. And it is awesome. That was a really good idea that I liked. So I think I'm gonna, start adding the death by air chair workout. So that's what I would do. Upper body days, lower body days, and whenever you can get extra credit, go for it. Get dropped for more push-ups, go for a run if they're, if you can talk them into running more, run more. There's a lot of stuff that you might be able to do. Humor me. Have you ever woke up late for a workout? I obviously hate it. I think I need a new alarm. Yeah, alarms are smart. You know what? It's funny because my guys that work out with me often say, "Do you ever go on vacation? Because you never miss a workout." I'm there 6 days a week. Every now and then I will go on vacation and miss a few days, but I haven't, and I need to knock on wood because I haven't missed a workout because I slept late. I don't know, maybe 15 years. It's been a while. It's become a habit. I mean, I wake up an hour before I work out now, just out of habit. So, I'm ready to go. If anything that causes me to be late is because got distracted and lost track of time versus overslept. Any tips on tricks on breathing for lean, negative, buoyant swimmers? Negatively buoyant swimmers and treaders. The only trick to breathing is here's two things. It's if treading is difficult, you need to work on your mobility so you actually can kick a full kick and powerful. The other thing is try to keep your lungs full of air without holding it for too long that you lose your breath. So a big inhale, hold for about 5 or 6 seconds, exhale real fast, whoosh, bring it back in. And that is another way to help you with treading when you're negatively buoyant and swimming when you're negatively buoyant. The only thing with the CSS with negatively buoyant swimmers is you got to kick hard and try to stay on plane with the water, that water is going to keep you up, right? But you can use that bottom arm to push down and it will make you come up a little bit, but you don't want to pop up too much. But use that bottom arm a little bit to push you down as you're doing that bottom arm pull. Instead of a breaststroke, push down and in and then recover together, and that down push will bring your body up a little bit. Those are, if there's such things as tips and tricks, that would be it. All right, let's see what else we have on the swimming agenda. See, I got a new one here. Someone sent this to me a minute ago. Let's share some screens. All right. Come on now. Where are you? There we go. All right, you guys see that? All right. So we'll play this. Good kick off the wall. That's not bad. Transitions up, pops his head up a little bit too early. Keep that head down. So we're looking at a top arm, bottom arm, kick and glide. And notice that bottom arm pull. In fact, we just discussed this. He is using that bottom arm pull to help him come up a little bit, but it's almost too much. Because if you notice, when he pulls that bottom arm, he goes straight down with it. And it's like this really big arm pull. So top arm looks good. Turning to breathe looks good. He's not popping his head up out of the water too much. But that bottom arm pull needs to be a little shorter. Like it needs to look more like a breaststroke skull. So it's not a full arm that goes all the way to the bottom of his hips or like to his pants. It needs to just come up to the chest, and then it meets the top arm as it's recovering. Because what's happening is he's creating some upward lift with that bottom arm. And I don't think he needs it. If you need it and you're negatively buoyant, it may be helpful for you and you get through the swim like this. But I promise you, when you're negatively buoyant and you have a pair of fins on, it's going to be a lot better for you because you just need more power to stay horizontal and moving when you are negatively buoyant. So get a better kick, get a better top arm pull, and that should keep you up a little bit better. So that was handy. Haven't done my own research just yet, but do you think it's possible to transfer into the Naval Academy as a junior? Well, yes. In fact, we had a guy who did 2 years of college and transferred into the Naval Academy. But guess what? You don't start off as a junior, you start off as a freshman. So pretty much those 2 years of college, not that they're wasted, you're just going to have an easier time. And you probably validate some courses as well. So maybe you'll have an easier class load during the week versus your classmates. But you start over as a freshman. Nobody transfers in as a junior. You need 4 years there. That's the way it works. Good morning. I was wondering, are all timed runs on a track during selection? I don't know. I don't know the issue with all selections, but the Navy SEAL selection, no. I don't think we ever used a track at all. We had a lap that we ran for the PST, which we only did once, and then every 4-mile timed run we did on the beach. So I'm not sure about other selections, but my answer to that is, why does it matter? It doesn't matter if it's a trail, if it's a track, if it's a beach, if it is a basketball court that you have to run 80 times around to get a mile and a half. Doesn't matter. You just need to be able to do it. So get good at running so you can run on anything that you want. What are the most overlooked aspects of training that BUD/S candidates do not fully prepare for? It never fails. Somebody neglects a weakness, and that weakness is different for everybody. Some people don't do well running. Some people don't do well swimming or doing drown proofing or treading. I would say a majority is people who don't run enough. They just didn't run fast enough with the process of preparation, and they neglected treading because they thought it was easy. Let me tell you about two things that really suck at buds: running and treading. From my personal experience, I never failed to run, but I had to bring my A game to be competitive in those runs. Right? I wasn't trying to barely pass. I was trying to be competitive with the class and be somewhere in that top 25%. But I had to bring it to do that. Treading, same thing, just sucked. I just hated treading. Everybody hated treading. And a lot of people fail treading. So I would say those would be the big two for most people. I mean, some people are not used to the cold, or maybe the grind, just getting crushed under a log in a boat, working long hours. Some of these days are 18 hours, and we're not even talking about Hell Week. You need to put in the time each day, not necessarily working out for 18 hours, but being busy for 18 hours in a day, because at Buds, you're going to work out in the morning. You'll probably have some class time. You'll probably get ready for some boats and logs and prepare some equipment for an hour or so, break for lunch, come back, do another physical event. So it's not like it's completely physical. You're just busy all day. So work, go to school, study, all of those things are just keep you busy. Doesn't necessarily have to be physically busy, but it has to be somewhat physically busy, as well as just keeping you awake, because there's no nappy time at any of these selection programs. So put in the time each day. Would you recommend transferring into the Naval Academy as a junior with the end goal of being an officer at Buds, or stay at college? I'm all right, then go to SOAS. You know what? That's a funny question. Or not a funny question, a great question, because this past year we had a guy who was at the Naval Academy, played lacrosse, did not get a SEAL billet after graduating, mainly because he just was not good at swimming. Plus, he also got into some conduct problems. So he did not get selected to go to SOAS, or no, he went to SOAS, but did not get selected to go to Buds. There's another guy who tried every year for 2-3 years while he was in college to do what you're doing. In fact, he would have been a junior his last time he tried, but he got neglected, or he neglected to get accepted to the academy 3 times: high school, freshman year, sophomore year, going into his junior year. Did not get in. Now, he stayed in college, finished his college career at where he was in 2 more years, and he just got an OCS slot, went to SOAS, and is now an OCS about to go to Buds. So there you go. There's so many different ways to get to Buds as an officer. There's ROTC, there's OCS, there is the Naval Academy. Naval Academy guys typically do really well, just because they get so much screening. There's 4 active duty SEALs here, and they prepare them well. 4 years here is a good preparation. Like I said, some of these freshmen are under logs and boats 4 years before they even go to Buds. So, any tips on hip, ankle mobility strengthening? Yeah, do my mobility day. I work ankle, hip mobility and strengthening for years. In fact, I want you to look at these stretches. and tell me what you think. I'm going to put this article in here. These will help you with hip and ankle mobility, which will help you with swimming with fins and help you with treading, especially doing egg beater type stuff. With PSD standards increasing to get into buds, what is the likeliness of actual getting a contract nowadays? I don't know where you heard that. I haven't heard anything about the PST standards increasing. I hope they do, because I think they're too easy. So if you're hearing this, that they're increasing and they're getting harder, interesting. I have not heard such. In fact, I'm looking here at the sealswick.com website. And so far, that's not updated, like it's going to get tougher. Still has a 930, 75, 75, 15, 930. I haven't heard that. I hope they do, though. I think they need to get tougher. But it's more than the PST. You know, it's not just the PST. You got to prepare to get 2 buds by crushing the PST. Like I said, greater than what they're currently saying. I think they do a 930 swim and run. My recommendations are an 830 swim, sub 9 run. They recommend 75 push-ups. I say, 90 to 100. 15 pull-ups. I say 20 to 25. So if that prevents people from going to buds and quitting, I think it's a good thing. We need more details about underwater swimming for 25 meters. If you go to YouTube, you can find plenty of swimming videos for underwater. In fact, I have my own over there. So underwater swim, Stu Smith. Let me show you how easy this is. This is a Google machine that puts up and links to useful information. In fact, there's a link, a YouTube video right there, me talking about swimming underwater. It's out there, folks. I've been doing this for a very long time, right? I have been doing this for over 20 years, and I write 3 articles a week, make a couple videos a week, and you spread that out over 20 years, you will find a lot of information, almost too much, right? But just Google it, put my name in the search, and I promise you, if it doesn't have an answer to you, you should let me know. And if it's a good question, I will probably write an article or make a video about it. What are some easy sources of hydration? Big glass of water. I'm not sure what you're asking. I hydrate with water all the time, every day. Bottles of water, water hose, water fountains. Kind of a weird question, to be honest with you. So now, are you looking at electrolytes? Because I use electrolyte powder when I'm sweating profusely. I'll use like LMNT or Element, Drip Drop. That's a great one. What's the other one? Liquid IV. Those are also great, quick sources that you just pour right into water. If you need electrolytes, but water is your easiest source of hydration, and actually drinking it. Put it in a Camelback. That's another option. Any book giveaway? No, I don't think I'm doing a book giveaway today. Let's see here. So let me see if I missed any questions. I don't think so. Let me see if I got any more videos to share. I downloaded a whole bunch of them. Not sure if these are any good, though. Let me see what this one is. Yeah, I don't really have any good ones. Sometimes, but you know what? Let's do this. Let me share something with you. This is always fun. So if you don't like the TikTok app on your phone, that's cool. You don't need to get the TikTok app if you're having issues with the TikTok being on your phone. Guess what? It's also a website, right? And you can go to this website, tiktok.com /at StuSmith50. In fact, check this out. And that's my TikTok page. So it is nothing but me voiceover critiquing people swimming. And I even have people videotape me swimming and I show it, but there are some really good ones here. A couple little issues from guys like this. Woo, this was probably one of my biggest one-day accomplishments ever. Right? They even put music to this one. So look at this. I mean, this guy obviously does not know what CSS is. And this is literally 15 minutes. Top arm, bottom. Yeah, he still has some stuff he needs to work out, but he actually did really well there. Quick learner, I should say. Good coach, but also quick learner. Here's a one.
Hey everybody, this is Stu Smith with another CSS critique, and here is a
watching these perfect ones
version of the CSS.
So he actually uses a breaststroke
top arm,
kick.
bottom arm kick. I think that's his third stroke right there.
Going.
This is a 25-yard pool.
This is really good. In fact, this is a minute and a half
all
long
efficiency right there.
CSS.
We'll count that as 4
and
strokes.
In a minute and a half,
it kicks off the wall. Nice double arm pull out, breaststroke pull out.
So
pops up. If you can't do a breaststroke pull out, no big deal. You can just skip it and go right into the stroke. But give yourself a good 4 or 5 seconds off the wall, because you will never be faster than these next few yards right here. When you kick off that wall, stay streamlined.
Is kind of my minimum standard.
Come up for your first stroke,
which a lot of
that's some fast movement if you can take advantage of that wall. So
7:30.
That's the beauty about swimming in a 25-yard pool. You got a lot of kickoffs. If it's a 50-yard pool,
yeah, you guys check out those. If you're looking for some of I actually have some underwater videos in there too. Someone asked asked if Jeff and I are going to be on soon. Yeah, we're planning on one hopefully this week. We've just both been busy in and outside of work. Should I practice underwater swims with no mask for Bud's prep? Sure, but never do it alone. Don't ever do it alone. Yeah, you don't get to use a mask for the underwater swim. Sir, any thoughts on Sheepdog tactical training with Tim Kennedy prior to Bud's? Worth it or a waste of time? I don't know. My personal recommendation on learning tactical skills prior to the military, it's not a bad idea to just get a feel for what it is. But 9 times out of 10, depending on what group is doing it, you may pick up some bad habits that you're going to have to relearn. Not saying he has bad habits, just saying that it may be more advanced from what Buds is teaching, for instance. And you may have to progress up to that level versus just being shown that level, trying it out, and it could screw you up. So not knocking any others tactical fitness training or tactical training out there. I don't think it's needed at all for what you're trying to do. But, if you've never shot a gun before, it might be a good familiarization for you. Mute the TikTok video. We can't hear what you're saying. Yeah, I'm not on TikTok anymore. So, what are some things that get candidates disqualified that you would typically think of when training to be prepared? Here's a weird one that got someone disqualified recently. And he was a little bit short, probably 5'6", and he could not jump from one log to the other on a obstacle called the dirty name. And you can Google the term dirty name Bud's obstacle course, but he failed that enough times to where they said you can't pass the O course. You're done. So that's an odd one that gets a few people every year. Swimming with fins, there are some people who show up at Buds and have never swum with fins before, believe it or not, and they try to learn it in prep, and it's just not enough time to prepare themselves, and they never pass a Buds swim, 2-mile swim in the ocean. That happens. 4-mile timed runs on the beach, not fun either. Definitely want to practice 4-mile timed runs, but pretty much the things that get people disqualified are failing tests, drown proofing, underwater swims, even though I think we had 0 people fail the underwater swim and 1 person fail the drown proofing test in my class. So it's not a high attrition event. Drown, what is it? Pool comp or OC8. That's a big one. But a lot of people, by that time you're in dive phase, they tend to give you a chance at being rolled. So, here's an interesting question. Did your class ever get rid of someone because his peers did not like him? No, that did not happen. Not sure if that happens now. It would suck if it did, just because everybody has a little bit different personality. As long as they're getting the job done and not a dick, they should be permitted to stay, even if they're a little goofy. Is there any way of doing a scissor kick while wearing military uniform? My propulsion from the kick became very weak as compared to trunks. Good question. Yeah. I mean, we do scissor kicks with full camis on. Definitely. I think it's probably better than flutter kicks. Flutter kicks just get you really winded. What are some uncommon but possible things that get candidates disqualified? Didn't we just answer this? No, that's very uncommon. I've never seen an unsharpened knife get someone kicked out during a gear check. Though I have seen safety violations occur. An unsharp knife, I don't think qualifies as a safety violation, maybe. But someone's air not being fully turned on, if you're about to go on a scuba dive, during the dive checks, that can be a safety violation. But yeah, haven't seen. I mean, pretty much you have an unsharpened knife, they're just going to hammer you, make you do push-ups and get you wet and sandy before you go on the swim, things like that. Do I still enjoy shooting, hunting, doing other activities that are similar to life in the teams? Yeah, I mean, I like shooting. I don't shoot enough. I probably should. Don't do a lot of hunting anymore, but I do fishing. I like fishing. Trying to think. I still ruck. So it's more. I'm more fitness. In tune with fitness. I like a lot of the survival stuff. So I will prepare for power outages and, the apocalypse, stuff like that. Stuff like that, it intrigues me. So I have kind of like my go bags and areas of the house that are well fortified and have stores and stuff like that. So that's a different part of my brain that I tend to do. I don't, like I said, I don't go into that world of selling it or do anything. I stay in my lane and focus on fitness and stuff like that. So should I practice knot tying, drown proofing on my own before I even start working? Yeah, I would definitely practice knot tying and drown proofing, but I wouldn't do it on your own. Have people there with you that are doing it. but you can also practice this stuff, not underwater. Just hold your breath in the air and tie knots. That's going to help you more than anything. And be less dangerous. Just, don't do a lot of breath holds on your own. We had a guy at the Academy pass out the other day doing breath holds, and it's not necessary. And luckily another midshipman was there to pull him out and get him on the side of the pool, and he's okay. But if that guy had not been there, that guy would have died. He would have passed out and just gone to the bottom. So have a buddy, lifeguard too, but I wouldn't hold your breath underwater for very long. Let's see, books to recommend. Mental psych prep. I'll be honest with you, I don't. I mean, I know there's some out there. That's just not kind of part of my reading material. Trying to think. No, I don't really have a lot out there on that topic. I have articles on the topic, but nothing for the book. All right, guys, it's been over an hour. Thanks for listening. If you guys are interested in more articles on topics of fitness, I have literally 1,000 of them. Check out stewsmithfitness.com article section. You can also go to Google and search it, or you can search it on my website as well. Definitely find it there. Also programming over there. Can't beat it. Can't beat the price. Good stuff over there. And it will help you prepare for whatever you're training for. But yeah, check it out. If you got videos to send me, email me, stew@stewsmith.com, or you can DM me on Instagram as well. So once again, thanks for listening. And if you got questions, send them my way. We will see you later next week.